What if the truth you've been told is but a veil, thin as spider's silk, hiding a deeper light? What if the story of a woman, erased from sacred texts, holds the key to a forgotten wisdom? A wisdom that could shatter the chains of dogma and awaken the divine spark within you. Her name echoes through the ages, whispered in the margins of history. Mary Magdalene. Who was she truly? A sinner, a saint, or something far greater? A keeper of mysteries the world was not ready to hear. Tonight, we embark on a journey through the shadows of time, unearthing the hidden gospel of Mary Magdalene, the Church's greatest cover-up. Prepare to step beyond the veil. The woman in the shadows in the annals of the New Testament. Mary Magdalene is a fleeting figure, a woman redeemed, a follower of Christ, a witness to the resurrection. But the brushstrokes of her story are sparse, as if painted with reluctant hands. The Church Fathers called her a penitent prostitute, a narrative woven from threads of control, not truth. Yet, in the sands of Egypt, in the buried libraries of Nag Hammadi, another Mary emerges, a disciple of unparalleled wisdom, a priestess of the sacred feminine, a mirror of the divine itself. In 1945, a farmer's spade struck a clay jar in the desert, unearthing the Gnostic Gospels, texts branded heretical, hidden for centuries. Among them was the Gospel of Mary, a fragmented yet luminous manuscript. Here, Mary Magdalene is no mere follower. She is the apostle to the apostles, the one to whom Christ entrusted his deepest teachings. The text speaks of visions, of dialogues with the risen Christ, of secrets that pierce the veil between the material and the divine. Why was this gospel buried? Why was her voice silenced? The archetype of the divine feminine. Mary Magdalene is not merely a historical figure, she is an archetype, a vessel for the eternal feminine that flows through every culture's myths. She is Isis, gathering the pieces of Osiris to restore divine unity. She is Inanna, descending to the underworld to face death and return transformed. She is Saraswati, the river of wisdom that nourishes the soul. In Hermetic teachings, she is the anima, the soul's mirror, reflecting the light of the divine spark within us all. The Gnostic Gospel of Mary reveals her as a teacher of the inner mysteries. She speaks of the soul's ascent through the seven spheres, a journey mirrored in the alchemical stages of transformation. Nigredo, the blackening of the ego. Albedo, the purification of the heart. Rubedo, the reddening of the spirit into divine union. Her gospel is not a tale of sin and redemption, but a map of the soul's awakening, a hermetic blueprint for transcending the illusions of the material world. Yet the early church, forging its doctrine in the crucible of power, feared this wisdom. The feminine, with its intuitive knowing, its cyclical nature, its connection to the earth and the cosmos, threatened the rigid hierarchies of a patriarchal faith. Mary's gospel was branded heresy, her role diminished, her voice locked away in the desert's embrace. The alchemy of erasure. Let us turn to the alchemical lens, for Mary's story is one of transformation through suppression. In the nigredo of her erasure, we see the Church's attempt to dissolve her power, to reduce her to a penitent shadow. But alchemy teaches us that the blackening is only the beginning. In the albedo, the white light of purification, her truth begins to resurface. The Nag Hammadi texts, the apocryphal Gospels, the whispers of mystics through the ages, These are the droplets of her essence seeping through the cracks of history. Consider the rose, a symbol sacred to Mary Magdalene. In Hermetic tradition, the rose is the heart of the alchemical work, blooming at the rubedo, the stage of divine union. Its petals unfold in layers, just as her teachings revealed truth in stages. The rose is both beauty and thorn, love and sacrifice, earthly and divine. In medieval art, Mary is often depicted with a rose or a jar of ointment, symbols of her role as the anointer, the one who prepares the soul for its sacred marriage with the divine. Across cultures, this archetype persists. In ancient Egypt, Isis anoints Osiris with sacred oils, restoring his divinity. In Hindu tradition, Radha's love for Krishna is a mystic union, a dance of soul and source. The Sumerian Inanna, stripped bare in the underworld, emerges as a goddess of both life and death. Mary Magdalene, like these figures, is the bridge between the human and the divine, the one who anoints, who heals, who sees beyond the veil. The spiral of her teachings. The Gospel of Mary speaks of a vision, the soul's journey through the seven powers, archons that guard the gates of the cosmos. These powers, darkness, desire, ignorance, and more, are not external demons but inner shadows, illusions that bind us to the material world. Mary's Christ teaches her to transcend these, to rise through the spheres until the soul rests in the divine silence, the gnosis of pure knowing. This teaching echoes the Hermetic maxim, as above, so below. The microcosm of the soul mirrors the macrocosm of the cosmos. Mary's gospel is a call to inner alchemy, to burn away the dross of fear and illusion, to polish the soul until it reflects the divine light. It is no coincidence that her teachings parallel the Upanishads, which speak of the Atman's union with Brahman, or the Buddhist path to nirvana, where the self dissolves into the infinite. Yet her fellow apostles, Peter and Andrew, reject her vision in the gospel. They question her authority, her intimacy with Christ. This tension mirrors the eternal struggle between exoteric religion, rigid, dogmatic, external, and esoteric wisdom, fluid, intuitive, internal. Mary's response is serene, yet piercing. What is hidden from you, I will proclaim. She is the voice of the suppressed, the light in the shadow, the rose among thorns. The Church's cover-up. Why was Mary's gospel buried? The answer lies in the alchemy of power. In the 4th century, as Christianity became the state religion of Rome, the Church Fathers sought to unify doctrine. The Gnostic texts, with their emphasis on personal revelation and inner knowing, were a threat to centralized authority. Mary Magdalene, as a woman wielding spiritual power, was doubly dangerous. Her gospel was not merely hidden, it was demonized, its teachings branded as heresy. But truth, like the rose, cannot be crushed forever. The Nag Hammadi discovery was the albedo of her return, the purification of her legacy. Today, mystics, scholars, and seekers are piecing together her story, finding her in the margins of canonical texts, in the art of the Renaissance, in the whispered traditions of esoteric orders. She is the Sophia of Gnosticism, the wisdom that descends to guide humanity. She is the Shakti of Hinduism, the creative force that animates the divine. She is the Shekinah of Kabbalah, the presence of God in the world. The call to awakening. And so we stand at the threshold of the rubedo, the final alchemical stage. Mary Magdalene's hidden gospel is not merely a relic of the past, it is a living flame, a call to awaken the divine within. Her story reminds us that truth cannot be buried forever, that the feminine, intuitive, cyclical, transformative, lives in us all, regardless of gender. She is the spark that urges us to question, to seek, to transcend. What does it mean to follow Mary's path? It is to embrace the inner journey, to face the archons of fear and doubt, to ascend the spiral staircase of the soul. It is to anoint ourselves with the oil of courage, to become both the seeker and the sought. Her gospel whispers, "You are the light you seek. You are the divine you long for." As we close this journey, let us pause in the silence of her gaze. Imagine her standing before you, her eyes like stars, her voice a melody of ancient knowing. She does not demand worship. She offers a mirror. Look within. See the rose blooming in your heart, its petals unfolding to reveal the infinite. The hidden gospel of Mary Magdalene is not lost. It is within you. Seek it. Remember it. Awaken it. For in her story, we find our own. And in her light, we become the light.